How's everyone? We'll get started in one moment. First of all, thank you guys for coming out. I'm known as Agent Cory Banks, and while we sit here and wait, what we like to do is we like to, have everyone introduce themselves and, why they're here, if they're investing or looking to become an investor, to say what your strategy is or what you're looking to do.
Hey, what's happening? I'm over a year and a half, almost a year and a half with Keller Williams. Happy to be here. Just trying to learn and grow.
Hey, Felicia.
Greetings, everyone. I am also an agent with Keller Williams Legacy, and tonight I'm hoping I can learn as much as I can because I am looking in the future to become an investor myself for retirement and also for the community.
Kimberly.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kimberly Moore. I'm also an agent with Keller Williams Legacy. I'm here to learn something new.
Nisha.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Nisha McNair David. I am a new agent with KWL, just transferred from KWPP out in Upper Marlboro. I am here to learn as much as I possibly can, being a new agent and also a new investor.
All right. My friend Tia. Hey, Tia.
Hello, this is Tia Howell. I'm also a new agent with Keller Williams Legacy. I have one rental property and I'm looking to learn as much as possible to just get into investing, more rental properties, just any and everything. I just want to learn.
All right. So I think we have everybody and I think we can get started. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So we have our good friend Natasha. She's gonna get everything started for us.
Give yourselves a hand. I don't know about you guys, but this is my first time being out in a meeting setting, right? And so it's kind of weird, no mask, We're looking at things. We had done our last one by Zoom. Now it's a hybrid. We're doing Zoom and in person. So first I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being just a part of a learning and growing environment. That's what we're all here for. So it's really funny. I am also a realtor. I am a former Keller Williams, KWPP. I heard someone say that that's where they came from.
She'll be back.
I'm now with Samson Properties.
She'll be back.
But the good thing is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what brokerage we're with. It doesn't matter, where you connect yourself. I heard someone say you're looking at getting into being a realtor, right? What I found was that we all have the same common goal: real estate, wealth building, learning, going from where we are to a better place, and how we're going to do that. And so we're hoping tonight to talk to you about some opportunities and some ways to do that. Okay. So one of the things that we do every time, we always like to kind of tell people how we started this real estate into retirement, right? Where did this come from? So many of you all know that Cory is part of a meetup. I had gotten his name from someone that was interested. I'm out of Prince George's County, by the way, so I'm very Southern Maryland. I do some things here in Baltimore, but I'm mainly out of PG. So I had an investor actually who was telling me that she wanted to do some investing. She said she wanted to invest in Baltimore, and I said, I got to be honest, right? Because we get a lot of people down in Prince George's County or DC who want to invest, but the price point is so high. So a lot of times they want to come to Baltimore, but we also know you don't want to advise people on an area or in a situation that you don't have experience in. So this investor actually tells me, I know this guy's name is Cory Banks. You may want to look him up. Okay. So I do that, and I find out that he has this meetup. He's doing it on Wednesday nights. Normally, I don't come up to Baltimore during the week. I'm going to come, it's going to be on the weekend. But I had a client, they wanted to see something, happened to be a Wednesday night. I was like, oh, wow, I'm done. Let me run over to this meetup. So I get there, and it's almost empty, right? I'm like, oh, oh my goodness. Now you're kind of nervous. You're going into a situation. You don't know what they're thinking. But so I was telling this story earlier, and Cory made sure
because it was over.
It was empty because it was over. So make it very clear, it was empty because it was over, and I was late, right? So I go in, and Tammy meets me at the. You don't know these people at the time, right? So Tammy meets me at the door, and she's like, "How can can I help you?" And I'm like, "I was actually here for a Cory Banks." I'm like, "Yeah." So she pointed over. He was talking, and then she gets his attention, and she says, "Someone's here for you." He's like, "For me?" So he comes over, we start talking. I'm telling him that I had, got his information. And I said, "I'm so sorry I'm late." He said, "You're not late. You're right on time." And from that moment, I told him, I was just like, when you're rushing and you don't know what to do, you're trying to get started in networking, you're trying to connect with people, just something simple can make all the difference. So to hear you're not late, you're right on time, I knew then that he was going to be willing to help me and work with me. And as they say, the rest is history, right? So I called him afterwards, now that we've met, and I let him know that I had a couple that was looking to invest in Baltimore. And I said, "Hey, help me out. What do I do?" Right? So we're talking on the phone. He takes me through the formula. The 165%, do the 40,000. So I'm just so excited. I got my notebook. I'm going crazy. I can't wait. I'm like, okay, I'm going to set up this time frame for Cory to talk to these people, right? Then I talk to another client and they want to do the same thing. So then I'm like, okay, well, it'll be, 3 people on the conference call. Then I talk to another couple. I'm like, we about to have a meeting.
It was a setup.
Because I'm starting to realize, which I already knew, you guys can understand this, especially if you're realtors. We have people that come to us that want help and we don't always know what to do. But when there's a theme, right? So guess what the theme was? I want to invest in real estate because I need to retire. I've checked my account, my TSP or whatever, my 401k, no matter which one it was. There's not enough. I am not going to be able to live the life that I want to live, right? I'm mid-40s, early 50s. I'm not going to retire tomorrow, but I don't have the time that I thought I did to put this extra money in. What do I do? Cory, instead of a conversation on the phone, we're having a meeting. He came down to Prince George's County. I had rented space kind of like this. We had the refreshments, by the way, grab something, make sure at any time, family, feel free.
Just save me a book.
And Real Estate into Retirement was born because we realized, again, that there was a simple thing. People need to retire. They have some money. They would like to invest, but no one knows what to do or how to do it or how to get started. And so no matter where you may be, no matter what your end game is, it's like we said, when we went around and we introduced ourselves, we all have the same. It's just how we're going to get there, right? So without that, now you know you're a part of it. We've been doing this for 3 years, about 3 years now, right? When COVID hit, like we said, we went to Zoom. We will be doing more, but our whole objective is to help you with wealth building. And there are so many ways to get there, right? So we're going to talk about some of those tonight. So I'm done. Again, thank you. You'll hear from me again. We want to make sure that it's a comfortable environment. Feel free to grab some water, cookies, or a little something to eat or drink. And next up is our very own Cory Banks.
I'm going to say this now. Don't mind us three. It might be comedy hour because we don't know how to act even if we're in front of the room. So don't mind any joke.
They don't know.
Yeah, okay, don't get me started. So with that, first thing, like I said, I like to start off with energy. So give me a second. I'm going to try this real quick. So I need you guys to join in after I'm done, okay? What's up, guys? I'm here at Real Estate into Retirement. And I have a few friends that would like to say hi. Give me a second. Guys, hold on. What y'all want to say? The excitement is real. The excitement. All right. So normally when I get up, I'm very nervous, and that's how I try to break my nervous, my nervous feelings and everything. So I'm Agent Cory Banks, Realtor 007. And first of all, thank you for especially my mastermind. I have so much support from my mastermind group. Thank you. Great mastermind people, raise your hand, please. I greatly appreciate you guys. And then I have support from my brokerage. Raise your hand, people from my brokerage and on Zoom. I appreciate you guys as well. Just wanted to make sure I acknowledge those people. Now, here we go. Hold up, I have to share my screen, right? That's how this is supposed to work, right? Mm-hmm. This is my first time in this environment to share. Yeah. I think I might be good though. I might be good. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. You got something. Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right. So like I said, I'm Agent Cory Banks, Realtor 007. Hold up. How you get that off of there?
I'm not gonna get it off.
You're not gonna get it off?
You want this gun?
Oh, okay. I forget. That's the computer. Okay. Okay. I appreciate it. Well, let's give a hand, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Go back. All right. And this is Real Estate into Retirement. And I'm going to talk about the real estate piece. And then I'm going to have my good friend and business partner, Calvin Harris, talk about the investing side and how to keep your money going, right? We also have a Facebook group that I would love for you guys to join. So hop on Facebook and please join our group. And as you know, I'm part of the Real Deal Meetup, Real Estate into Retirement. I am a Keller Williams legacy agent. And and again, you already know, Agent Cory Banks, Realtor 007. Now, here's the thing. How many times have you heard these things? That you need a lot of money to invest in real estate? Raise your hand. What about you've heard that you need good credit to invest in real estate? What about I don't have enough money, so I have to buy cheaper homes? What about no one will take that deal? You've heard these things, right? Yeah. I'm here to show you and tell you. I'm going to debunk all that for you guys. I'm going to show you some things to show you how to invest in real estate against all of these myths that we have when it comes to real estate. So it's two types of investing. You have active investing. Active investing is where you have to consistently do deals, right? If you don't do a deal, no money is coming to you. Wholesale, fix and flip, right? Active investing. Then we have passive investing, right? I'm still getting used to the clicker, leave it alone. Then we have passive investing. Passive investing, is when you're looking at buy and hold. If I have a rental, or if I have rentals, I don't have to buy another rental for that money to keep coming in, but it's passive because of the fact that I still have to manage that particular investment. If they don't pay, I don't get paid, right? Now, what are some of the reasons why we invest in real estate? Anybody want to help me out? I give you guys a hint. You got it. Exactly. I said I give you a hint. I told, see, problem right here. Anybody want to help me out here? Cash flow. What else? Appreciation. What else? Tax break. What else?
Build hope.
What else?
Many options.
What else?
Don't need a lot of money.
You guys are so smart. I love it. It's going to be great. Right. So these are the things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about cash flow. We're going to talk about high returns. And we're going to talk about don't need money. Raise your hand if that's one of the biggest things, biggest problems. Don't need money. I need money. I need money. Oh, everybody got money here? Okay. I'm about to hit y'all up. Give me $1. Now, here's the matrix, right? You have little to no money, you have where you need money, creative investing, and you also have buy and hold. Buy and hold, you know, so when you need little to no money, we're talking about wholesaling, becoming a realtor, right? Tenant placement. How many people heard of tenant placement before? Now, of course, when it comes to fix and flipping, we already know we need money to fix and flip, right? Need that, you know, what, 20% down, you got to pay for your points, pay for closing, all of those. And by the time you're like, dang, I need 40,000 just to get in the game. Yeah. Never mind, I'll be all right, never mind. Go work some overtime. But then we have creative investing. We have things like Guaranty Rent, subject to, lease option, owner finance. Raise your hand if you heard of any of these. Then, of course, we have the BRRRR strategy, house hacking, buying multi-units, and also private lending, right? And these are the things that we're going to talk about today, all right? Let's see. Wholesaling. How many people are familiar with wholesaling? Raise your hand. All right. So, if you're not familiar with wholesaling, wholesaling is basically this. I'm going to find the property. I'm going to negotiate with the seller. I'm going to get that property under contract. And then I'm going to find an end buyer to take my place in the deal for a fee. Got me? Let me give you some examples. I think we have someone who wants to come in.
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay. See, Charles, I have assistants.
You got people. You got people.
See, I have assistants too.
You got people back there.
Look, they started me early, so. All right, so here's I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna go over some deals that I've either been a part of, deals that I've done, deals I've helped negotiated, or deals that I work closely with the investors that have done these deals, okay? This is a deal where one of my investors, one of my out-of-town investors who are looking for rental properties, we found this property on Washington Boulevard, got it under contract for $60,000, and then we sold it for $67,000. So in 2 weeks, I made $7,000 off of this particular deal, right? These are wholesale deals. Here's another example. Got it. Actually, and this is a joint venture. So I worked with another wholesaler who sent me the deal. He said, "Hey, Cory, I'm looking to sell this for $100,000. No problem." I knew my investor would pay about $110 for the deal, so I sent it over to him. And in 30 days, I made $10,000 off of this deal here. Now, mind you, these deals, I didn't spend any money. To make that very clear, I didn't spend any money to get into the deal. I didn't use any of my credit. So already we're looking at $17,000 in profit, right? Not spending any money. Does that go to bed?
Good.
Okay, so make it sure. Great. Here's another deal. Now, mind you, this is the same investor, right? So in 45 days, one of my investors, he purchased 3 deals, right? He was like, Cory, I'm ready. So again, I found this property, got it under contract for $75,000. Went over the numbers. He was comfortable paying $80,000. So off this deal, I made a $5,000 assignment. Okay? Any questions so far? No?
About closing costs.
Closing costs? The closing costs was negotiated between the seller and the buyer. So the buyer actually paid most of the closing costs on all those things. And that's normally like, so let me also say this, right? Because some of the questions I may get, and I want to put this in your head. We don't go by what's standard, right? What's standard? Well, this is how we normally do it. What we do is whatever you negotiate, right? So if you can think outside the box, now you put yourself in a different position, right? One of my biggest things is when I speak to certain investors, they always try to negotiate with money. And money is not always the value. Sounds crazy, right? How many people knew that? Money is not always the value. What if Ashley was selling her property and she was selling the property for $100,000, right? But Ashley had to hurry up to sell this property. She needed to sell this property quickly. So now Dominic says, you know what? But I'll pay you 120. But I can't close for 30 days. I'm like, look, Ashley, I can't really do 100. I can do 90. I can close in 2 weeks. Right? So money is not always the value. It's different value proposition that you can find with these deals, right? And I say that because closing costs was one of those value propositions for the buyer. You know, especially at the price point, the buyer, I'm sorry, for the seller, but especially at the price point, the buyer was okay paying the extra, you know, $2,000 because of the fact that he's still getting his property that's already cash flow. Now, who's heard of guaranteed rent? You guys can't raise your hand. So let me tell you. First, again, this is my mastermind crew, and when we talk about these creative deals, many times we talk about these deals. We're calling a certain guy, another bald head guy that's in here with me. I'm not gonna say any names, but Charles is the guy we call. You should be happy now. Leave me alone. Anyway, so guaranteed rent, and the reason why I say that because he was the one that actually helped me negotiate this deal here. Guaranteed rent is this. You have a landlord. In this particular situation, you had a landlord who didn't want to be a landlord anymore. It was a married couple. The property was underwater, meaning that they owed more than what the property was worth. And they were paying $1,400 a month. No, I'm sorry, $1,700 a month for both of these properties, right? So every $1,700 a month. No one is living in these properties. They are vacant properties. They're vacant, so they're paying $1,700 a month out of their pocket every month. Have a conversation with them, and what we negotiated was, I can't do $1,700 a month, but I can pay $700 a piece. And they were like, I lied to you not. They had the keys. I said, I can pay $700 a month for both properties, a piece. Here. I'm like, whoa, we got to do paperwork. Hold on. Now, most people will say, why would you do that? Or why would somebody do that? Let me ask you a question. If you're paying $1,700 a month for a property, or $1,700 a month coming out of your pocket every month, right? And I say, look, I can at least give you $1,400. Who would take that deal? You're not making any money. Mm-hmm. So part of that motivation, I need some more water. Part of their motivation, and part of me, was the fact that they wanted to buy another house. It's the nerves. Oh my goodness. And you guys got me the questions, right? Yeah, I see chat. Yeah. Okay. So they wanted to buy another house. They were having another house built, and they didn't want it to affect their credit. If they did a short sale, they had to wait another 2 years before they could buy a house. So now I'm coming to them. I can't pay you that 17, but I can at least save you $1,400 a month. I can guarantee I can pay $1,400 a month in as far as your mortgage. So they became my landlord and gave me the right to sublease the property. Now, one property, which is on the left, was in a better neighborhood. I actually rented that property out for $1,525 a month. So now I'm making $125. That's not breaking the bank, right? That's like gas money now, I think. Well, I at least get up the street with that, right? But then the other property, this is where the magic happened, right? The other property, the most I could rent this property out was about $900 a month. Now, I'll be about, what, $200 with that one? Had a conversation with my partner, and we negotiated that we're just going to rent the rooms out. Right? So now you have 125 coming from one property. Now you have profit, pure profit coming from the other property. Rent out one room for $600, another room for $550, then another room for $450. And then something happened. Got a phone call from somebody on Craigslist, and they asked me, Cory, how much would you pay me? I mean, how much would you charge me to rent out or rent the address? Because they needed to have a Baltimore City address for a contract. How much would you charge me to rent the address? Oh, no. $200? Okay, no problem. What? So now with this particular property or this particular deal, I ended up making $3,325 a month off a property that they couldn't sell. I mean, I just looked at it. I wasn't looking for the clap. By the way, Renard, you recognize that property right there on the right? It look familiar? Yeah. So, okay, can I tell a story? Is that okay? So, Renard used to be Baltimore City police officer. What? 2 years before I retired. Okay, so 2 years? Say 2 years? Okay, my bad. So he's a Baltimore City lieutenant. And I had a problem with a tenant. And the funny part was, so you know the guys with the white shirts, right? So now I got there late. Renard is there with his driver. He has a driver, yo. So Renard is there with his driver. And now the people that know me like, Cory, what's up? Because I'm with a guy with the white shirt on, right? He had to help me get a tenant out, so I appreciate that. It's good to know people, right? My man. All right.
Credibility.
Huh?
Street credibility.
That's what it is, exactly. Erica.
They asked, what makes this different from the subject to or schedule to idea?
No, it's not the same. The subject to, you have the mortgage still in place, right? And with the subject to, one of the things that you're doing, first you have to go to closing, and then you're going to be part of that deed, right? And it's a little more technical than that, but you have to go to closing, you're going to be part of the deed, and now you're taking care, and that's how you're taking care of or paying the mortgage. With the guaranteed rent, what you're doing is you're not going on deed. You have nothing to do with the deed. This is just a situation where you're they're going to make you a tenant and giving you the right to sublease. And it's similar to what people are doing when it comes to Airbnb, right? No, guaranteed rent. I'm going to take over this lease or have this lease, and then they're going to give me the right to sublease. So that means that if my lease is $1,200 a month and I'm able to rent it out for $1,800, $1,900 a month, what I make between the 12 and the 19, that's profit for me. Does that make sense?
And the rent the address, that's legal?
Yes. But yes. I didn't advertise it. It was an opportunity that just came to me. It's like how much would you charge it? And I think what it was, I was already renting in rooms. I had the ad to rent out rooms, and that was like the perfect scenario for them. You know. And I guess not, because if you think to your question, is it illegal? If I were to go to UPS or the post office and get a PO box, now correct me if I'm wrong. I know you know this. I can use the address of the post office as a regular address and use my P.O. box number as a suite versus just saying P.O. box ...
Okay.
All right. Since you want to talk about the subject to, let's talk about the subject to. This is a deal that I recently closed with some people that I know. And now, here's the thing. As you see, the mortgage is $337. Oh, I'm sorry, $337,000. Like that, what are you guys negotiating over there? You guys are great. Wow. Anyway, it's $337,000. So you would never live here? I'm moving in. I'm moving in. Just make sure he makes some food for me. But so here's the thing. Subject to, as I was explaining before, with the subject to, you're not going to take out the loan. You're using the loan that's already in place with the seller, right? Taking over the payments. Go to closing, and now you're part of the deed, right? Now, in this particular deal, the seller, her kids moved out. Her health was declining, and she's the only person living in this big old house. And she had medical bills that she had to pay like immediately. So what we negotiated where she would get a certain amount up front, and then at closing, got another amount. But she was able to take care of her medical bills immediately. And that's what, so she had two levels of motivation. First level was the fact that her health is declining. I'm in this big house. I can't move around. And then at the same time, it was a situation where she needed money now. Now, some people may say, well, why didn't she just sell the house? This house is in White Marsh. Problem is, it needed certain repairs in order to get it to the market value. So at 37, where are my realtors again? What's that? What's one of those things, one of those fees that comes out when you sell your house? Commission. What do you think the commission would be on a $337,000 house? Well, when we talk with the realtors, you know, they don't think like the mastermind students. They're more in the box, right? So, well, 19. So now you're looking at $337,000 minus $20,000. Who's paying that $20,000? Exactly. So would it be great? Would it be a good idea for her to list the property if she needs to make money? Right? So this is what happened. Because of that, so now we give the $20,000. Now you're sitting at $357,000, right? How do we make money? Yeah. I'll get to that in a moment. So you have the $357,000, right? This particular property needed $65,000 worth of work. At $65,000, it was supposed to put the house at $545,000, right? But then we're in this crazy market that we're in. And of course, we see that the property ended up selling for $575,000, and the investors made a profit of $86,000. To answer your question, we're going to talk about private money later, right? But they had private money. The numbers. Exactly. They had a partner who had the money, and they partnered with the private money lender and made it happen that way. Now, again, did I say anything about credit? No. Any loans made? It was private lender. It was a friend, right?
In fact, you should think in terms of the fact that to control almost a $500,000 house only costs $20. That's what it was. It was just $20 put down on this property.
as far as the EMD, right?
And it's private and the lender was our first business partner when we started.
It's right. Cory's right. It's all about relationships and stuff. Because we had bought hundreds of properties together. And throughout those years, anytime we come up with deals, we're partnering with these deals. And that was one of the deals we came to.
And did he check your credit? He checked your credit? What? How much did he run you again?
A total of 87,000.
And he didn't check your credit? That's a good friend.
They used to own learner properties.
We used to own a couple of hundred properties.
That's a good friend, Jack. How much you have to put down on it? $20? Hold up. 86 and 20.
Oh, for him?
Yeah. Nothing? I'm just saying.
Believe this when you just hear somebody say this. When you make people money, they'll give you money.
Yep.
That's the key. As long as you make somebody money, you will always be able to get it.
And here's the thing, if the deal, and to that point, if the deal is good, they'll give you the money.
And you do for business, not for business. That's the biggest thing.
So you said that I know you take over the payment. So then how many payments did you have to pay while you were going to that? Because doesn't that deduct kind of the profit?
Oh, definitely. Well, you factor all of those things in when you're running your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the main things, the most important things that you ever want to do before you take on a deal is run your numbers. Make sure you take these things in account, especially with the deal that you're looking at, and then also account for that thing that may happen.
So did y'all count that into like the repair costs kind of?
Cory makes a very good point. The key to that deal, like you mentioned, the fact is that you have to look at all the different sides of the deal. With this deal, we purchased it with a consideration of selling it to a normal buyer. But when you do subject to, you have to deal with season.
Right.
If you're dealing with FHA, it's 90 days. Conventional, you don't have to worry about that. So our buyer on this actual transition of this deal was going to be a conventional buyer. Mm-hmm. But this deal was supposed to close 90 days after the fact. Mm-hmm. We came into the winter months, and I made the decision. Now, I don't want to sell it Christmas. I don't want to sell it New Year's. I want to wait till the second or third week in January. Mm-hmm. And reason being, I got a better opportunity for buyers, and we were hoping that we would get a bigger bump on the price. And that's the reason why. But you're absolutely correct. You got to look into all these different equations when you're looking at that type of deal, especially subject to, because that's one of the most advanced deals you can do in real estate investment, because it's a deal that you can literally get in with very little money out of your pocket. You're talking about a deed transfer. You're talking about the actual closing where you're actually going to closing on the property. The person is turning the property over to you. And there's certain laws you have to be aware of, such as Guaranty Rent. That's the reason why we do subject to, because of that law that Congress passed in 1974. But it's a great strategy for investors. Cory is an expert at it. We've been doing it for a number of years now. And it's something that should be in your toolkit if you're talking about.
Well, that's why I just call you.
So here's the other thing. So now you have subject to. Here's I'm gonna call this subject to's twin system. Right? How many people have ever thought about joint venturing with the seller to get a deal done? You? Anybody else? Nobody? How many? Raise your hand if you never thought about partnering with this seller to get a deal done. So I have two examples to talk about that. This is a property that my cold callers found and built this great relationship with, well, it's supposed to be Mr. Parks, but now it's Uncle Cliff and Aunt Karen, right? Rapport. And with Uncle Cliff and Aunt Karen, his numbers were high in what he wanted to sell. And it was one of those situations where it's like, dang, if I didn't have to close that one extra time, I would actually make money. And my investors, y'all understand what I mean when I say that? So now we negotiated. He said, well, Cory, if I can just get like $4,000, his numbers were already high. He's like, all right, man, give me an extra 4,000. All right, Uncle Cliff, how about we do this? How about I'll give you $4,000 now, and then we'll just partner, right? And what happened was I found one of my investors. Here's the crazy part. The crazy part about this deal. So not only, again, rapport. So he was like, Cory, I really like you. I like the way you do business. I'm going to introduce you to my good friend who's investing in Baltimore. I speak to her. She introduces me to her son and daughter who lives in California. Okay? First, the son and daughter are the investors on this property here. Rapport. So what we did was we structured the deal like this, right? So $84,000 between what he owed and the extra that he wanted. And then I told him I'd give him $8,000 down. But I said, Uncle Cliff, I need money though. I got to get paid for my work. Okay, we negotiated $4,000. Okay. Initially, it was supposed to take 3 months, but Tina, who's the investor, wanted to pick the contractor. Whole nother conversation. And the contractor started off good and then just started, I don't know what happened. Damn, Israel. Anyway, but it ended up taking 12 months, right? But they're supposed to pay $700 a month. Remember, they don't necessarily have a loan. They're just paying $700 a month, which is the mortgage balance, which is why you see 12 months, $8,400 is what they paid, right? Repair cost, $60,000. Before, the ARV was $200,000. My profit again was $4,000. Their gross profit was supposed to be $49,900. Are you with me so far? Mm-hmm. As of today, we have this under contract for $218,000. You think everybody's happy? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here's what happened. Tina is not a subject to. We had Tina become the lender on the property. So Tina loaned Uncle Cliff $60,000 and paid the mortgage for 12 months. So now, when the property sells, Uncle Cliff is going to make his profit from the $84,000, and then Tina makes the remaining, of course, taking out my commission, and then she makes the remaining balance. That makes sense? Let me give you another example. Yeah, I talked to Frank today. Charles know what I'm talking about. This is my man Frank's deal. Somebody one of my investors I work very closely with. And he also did a deal where he partnered with the seller, right? Mortgage balance, $190,000. He gave the seller $25,000 in the whole deal. Okay? Repair costs, $80,000. He was all in at $295,000. Are you with me so far? Yeah. Property sold for $380,000, and he made a profit of $85,000. No credit. He didn't use his credit at all. Actually, did he go through a hard money lender, or was it a private lender as well?
That was a private lender. And the other nuance on this deal structure was the fact that seller, in these type of deals, you want to keep the seller involved in the transaction. The mortgage is still in the seller's name. So we paid what we call a double portion close. We gave the seller half of the money up front, and the other half of the money when we sold the property. And that way the seller was involved in the whole transaction. Not to mention we recorded an actual note on the property to cover the repair costs. So we made sure we got our repair costs back. So it sounds a little bit advanced, but once you understand the concept of subject to joint venture and transaction engineering, it's really something that you need to do.
And one of the main things I want to make clear is we're not talking about, again, we're not talking about you need credit. And then we're talking about if you need money, there's other ways to get it. And trust me, we're getting there. So let me speed up because I know I'm going over my time a bit. And Natasha, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Alicia Thompson asked, how are you finding the sellers to partner for this?
Well, you're looking at off-market deals, right? And it's always about motivation. And part of that is building that rapport, right? Part of that, see, here's the problem. And this is, so I guess I can tell the story, right? So I said, don't do it. Don't do it.
Go ahead.
So, like I said, Alana and Melissa told me how to get a date and a lead at the same time. I'm no meaning, I'm sorry. Anyway, so this is what happened, right? I had anxiety about cold call. And they said, well, the easiest way is ask questions, right? I also had a problem. I said, I also get shy. Like if I see a woman and I got to have a conversation with them, like if they're not my circle, she said, well, I'm going to teach you how to get a date and lead at the same time. Just ask questions, right? And what I got from that was this. You ever, part of I guess if you're talking about a guy who approaches a woman at the bar, no rapport, hey, can I get your phone number? Like, leave me alone, man. Mm-hmm. Versus like having those conversations. But we do the same thing when it comes to when we make phone calls. You're looking to sell your property? Can I list your property? Where's the rapport? Where's the questions? I don't know you, right? So part of that answer is motivated sellers and also building that rapport, asking the right questions, finding the right motivation. Don't make it's not about me. It's never about me. Understand what I'm saying? It's never about me. But too many people make it about them. I want to list your home. I want to buy your house. I want to do this. But what do they need? And they'll tell you how to close it.
And on this particular deal, this was a deal where the seller was behind on their mortgage payments. It's a concept called stacking lists, where you look for properties where there's 2 or 3 different motivations. The motivations on this one was behind on the mortgage payment, absentee owner, and it was a situation where the person had already moved out of the property and the property was left there with a mortgage in place. So that's how the deal was found, and the deal came to concept like cold call. So we did a cold calling of that actual property. VA got the property, then we basically structured the deal with them. Cory meant something that's very important. Rapport means everything in any type of situation. People like doing business with they like no trust. If you can't build that, it's almost impossible to ask somebody to for a discount if they don't like no trust.
I'm gonna tell you one of the okay, I curse. Y'all know I curse, right? So anyway. No. Yeah, I curse. So what for me, when people say it's not business, it's not personal, it's business, that's bullshit to me. Because think about it. If you want to do business with someone that you know, like, and trust, isn't that personal? So I don't subscribe to that, right? So it's never about me. It's always about providing service. How many people heard of house hacking? All right. So you heard of house hacking, right? Now you already know when it comes to FHA, you're looking for 2 to 4 houses. 2 to 4 units, right? In order to qualify for FHA when it comes to a multi-unit, right? Now, how much? We already know that we're looking at about 3% down, So here's like the guidelines real quick. So forgive me if I speed this up because I know I'm behind. So you already know with FHA is going to take care of 96.5% of the loan. So in this situation, you're looking at $90,000. FHA is going to take care of $86,850 of the loan. Your MIP is 1.75%. That's going to put you at $1,519. And then your total loan amount is $88,369.87, right? But your mortgage payment is $625. And what happens in this situation? You rent it out, monthly payment Your monthly rent could be about $2,050. They're paying your mortgage for you every month. You're putting money back in your pocket, right? That works for me. That's a part-time job.
Okay. That's the thing.
So here's my question. Do you want to do the work of a real estate investor, or do you want the profits of real estate investments? You want both? You can have both. Let me tell you how. We talked about private lending. Many times, you have people that have money in their retirement accounts that are able to loan from those retirement accounts. You have people who have money sitting in the savings account. They're not earning a lot of interest. These are the people that you can talk to. But here's the other part that we don't talk about. I need $10,000 to get in the deal. I don't have $10,000, right? What if I had 5 friends with $200 or $2,000, right? So I have, how many, I need 5 friends with $2,000. Raise your hand for me. Damn, I just said 5. Okay, I'm glad we all got money here. All right. So now I'm gonna say something like, you know what? Alana, what if I came to you and I said, Alana, if you give me let me borrow $2,000 within 60 days, I'll give you $1,000 back, or I give you $3,000 back. So you get $1,000.
Where we're going with that. So I make 1,000.
To make 1,000, just letting your money, just let me borrow your money for about 60 days for $1,000. See, rapport, she trusts me. And here I go. But you have people in your network in the same situation, right? So you either have people that have money that can lend it out, and you can negotiate what the terms are. The interest rate, if they want points, how long it takes to pay back. Am I going to pay you back every month? Or can I just pay you back everything when the loan is due in 6 months to a year? These are things that you can negotiate. These are things that you have, and they can help you with your fix and flip projects, your commercial real estate, even your landlord or buy and hold properties. There's a property right here. Let's say this is a private money lender, right? This is a flip property that a rehab that I sold a couple years ago. So here are the numbers, right? First, at 82,000, estimated repair, 80,000. So the total loan amount would be $162,000, right? It took about 6 months to do this deal. They charged 10% interest, and they made $16,200 just letting their money sit in this property while they worked on a deal. How many people would do that deal and making $16,200 in 6 months by doing nothing? That's just no hands. You guys aren't excited about that?
Yeah.
Goodness. Tough room. Let's go back to that deal that we talked about before. Suppose you're a private lender. Same thing. $90,000. I have $90,000. I'm gonna loan it out for 5 years, right? 10% interest. So now I'm making 10% every year on my money. $9,000. Okay? They're paying me $1,500 a month. I'm gonna have a balloon payment the 5th year of $45,000. And then what happens? So in 5 years, I made $45,000 just letting my money sit into this property. Does that sound like a good deal to you?
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. And we haven't got to the good stuff. Wait till my man Calvin get up here and tell you what to do with that $40,000. Oh, baby. Anyway, a clicker. There we go. You see it, Renard. So he does mortgage notes as well. How many people would love to be the bank? How many people knew they could be the bank? How many didn't know that I could be the bank? Well, I'm here to tell you, you can be the bank. Not only you can be a private lender, but also you can buy something called bank notes. What are bank notes? How many people have a mortgage? No, you have a bank note. And did you know that the banks actually sell the bank notes to investors? You know that? How many people did not know that?
Isn't that the same as like when the bank sells your loan to another, like a small bank?
That's exactly what it is. But did you know that you could also be part of those investors that's purchasing those notes? You don't have to be the bank to purchase. So now this also gives you a little bit of flexibility. You can restructure your loan. You can foreclose. You can be the landlord, or you can just sell the property because you're buying it at a discount. Did I miss anything, Renard? Did I get everything? Yeah. My man. Matter of fact, how many people would love to learn more about bank notes? Woo. Oh, Renard, would you mind coming back? Like we could do something next month. Yeah. Would you mind coming back and we can talk about bank notes? Can you do that for the presentation? Explain the whole process. Who's here for that? There you go. All right, so next month we can talk about some bank notes. I appreciate you, sir. And of course we could talk about, performing and non-performing. I mean, it speaks for itself, right? A performing note, someone that's paying their mortgage, and a non-performing note is what? See, I love you guys. You guys are so smart. I love it. All right. Any questions? No questions? I did that badly. I was that boring.
No, that was great.
Right.
Awesome.
I'm gonna start holding back. I like questions. All right, so please. I guess it'll be every last Tuesday now. Is that what we're doing? That we're gonna do? Okay.
When is your meetup?
Every fourth Saturday we have the Real Deal meetup, and that's at the Best Western Hotel at the Travel Plaza, along with my man Charles Blair and Tammy Blair. They support me. I take care.
You said
every fourth. You're not gonna say anything to that. Every fourth Saturday. Also, we're working on doing more real estate retirement, getting back into the flow of that. And Alana, am I taking over Investors Club? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes. I'm just saying yes right now.
So every last Tuesday, of the month here, we'll have Investors Club. So please, with all of that being said, please pull out your phones and follow me. Go on Instagram and follow me, and YouTube, and put in hashtag Agent Cory Banks and subscribe and like me. Yes.
What's the information on Real Deal?
Every fourth Saturday at the Best Western Hotel at the Travel Plaza. We start at 9 a.m.
Why don't you give them the website so they can
The Real Deal. There you go.
It's the realdealmeetup.com.
There you go.
That way they can see everything that's going on.
Meetup.com. So I should have some new followers and subscribers when I look at my phone, right? Yeah. Okay, just making sure. No. All right. Say again. You gonna follow me? Oh, you do? I will follow you. I will look and I will follow you. I don't want trouble. I want trouble. So now, are you ready?
Are you gonna? No? Okay, well.
So I'm gonna bring Miss Natasha Mills back. Give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Wrap it up. We can get more energy for this.
Yeah, but I don't know how to. whatever. I don't want to work the thing.
I know what it is.
Can you just-
Guys are after my side.
Oh, they're after yours? So am I just telling my story? Am I introducing you? What am I doing? I'm introducing you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. This is Kelvin Harris. He's doing his thing, he's getting it right. But so Kelvin is a financial advisor. That's what that's funny. I don't know what you do right now because he's my financial.
She's my client, and so is Cory. So that's
So you don't know what he?
No, I
He's
do.
doing work for you. You don't know what he does?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my goodness.
He takes care of my money, but and he advises me. But so he is doesn't just work for me and Cory. This is what he does. He's very good at what he does. And so this is his whole little spiel. He's the president and CEO of Kelstar Consulting, which is a full service financial consulting, wealth strategy, wealth advisory, and integrated asset and all that good stuff. He's going to talk about it. But the bottom line, guys, is this. We're going to learn about Cory's also told us some things, but our 5 major things are making the money, keeping the money, growing the money, protecting the money, and transferring the money. Okay, we had talked about where's you going? Our very own Kelvin.
Let's give Natasha a hand.
No, but that's what all that stuff. Okay.
All right, so thank you, Natasha.
Sure.
All right. So here's the obligatory disclaimer. So while you guys are reading that, well, I guess I have to read it for fun. The information in this presentation should not be interpreted as tax, investment, legal, or accounting advice. This material has been prepared for educational purposes only and is not intended to provide and should not be relied on for tax, legal, or accounting advice. You should consult your own tax, legal, and accounting advisors before engaging in any transaction. So as Natasha said, my name is Kelvin Harris. My company is Kelstar Consulting. I'm a financial advisor, wealth strategist, and the technical term for what I do is called integrated asset strategy management. So that's a fancy word for, I look at all legal options for you to make and grow your money, and we make sure they are all working in unison or in lockstep. Does that make sense? So real estate obviously is one of those. So before I get started, how much time do I have? I'm probably gonna have to speed through a lot of this because I don't want 30 minutes to work. Can somebody tell me what is money? Hello? I'm gonna ask the question again. Can somebody tell me what? So everybody's here. Cory just went over all this money we can make, but they don't know what money.
Fiat currency, but it's also
okay. So we got the technical guy.
It's a vehicle that we use.
Vehicle. I like that. Anyone else?
Alicia says freedom. Yeah, that's my vehicle.
Okay.
It's your vehicle.
It's a vehicle freedom. All right. Anyone else?
I would just say that it's a means of trade.
It's a means of trade. Okay. All right. So there's not necessarily a wrong answer, but I'm going to put it in context of what I'm going to talk to you about today. Money is a resource because it facilitates everything we talked about. So if I don't have a bottle of water, and I need some water. No. This is an example.
Our team is efficient.
I know, I like that. Yeah. I don't have any shoes. I need some shoes. I'm gonna have to do presentations here more often.
Right. Gotcha.
Don't worry, you will. So it's a resource. And the reason I'm putting it in that context is because we're going to be essentially when we talk about building wealth and all those sort of things, is building up resources. But we also understand that we don't necessarily know how many resources we need, especially when we're talking about retirement. But there's ways for us to figure that out. But you want to have money now, you know, and in the future. So money is a resource. Also, the way I want you guys to think about money for the purpose of this conversation is that money is your employee if you know how to put it to work. People who don't know how to put it to work are generally those people who wind up not having money, i.e. not having resources. So there's a quote from Warren Buffett that's something approximately like this. If you cannot figure out how to make money while you sleep, you will have to work until you die. Now, this is not me, this is Warren Buffett. And those are very harsh. So I'm like, Warren coming at us like that? Yeah. So I think I'd have to kind of agree with him because he's done pretty good. So I want to just touch on a few things today, and hopefully we can have a more deeper conversation, because I'm going to talk about the retirement part of real estate and retirement. Because at the end of the day, one of the things that makes my job easy as an integrated asset strategy manager is that all of this is money. Real estate, money. Forex, money. Cryptocurrency, money. It's all because at the end, what's the end result is that's what we're looking for. So we can understand and streamline the process and make that process more efficient, then we're just gonna be that much better. And then going back to the integrated asset strategy management part, if you can basically integrate your efforts in terms of what you're doing, real estate and some other strategies, the objective is to 3 to 5x what you would have had. So in this example, everyone in here listening to Cory, following his leadership, I'm quite sure by the time you're ready to hang it up, you should have, let's just say, $1 million. My job is to make sure you have 3 to 5 million in resources from what was made. Does everybody follow? Yes. Okay. So that's the job of a wealth strategy. So let's talk about building wealth. There's 5 phases to it. I developed this about 4 years ago now with COVID. But I think this will help again for us to really understand what steps we need to take. One of the things that I see, especially with my real estate investors or even my real estate agents, are a lot of people, we work very hard, we make good money, some of us make a lot of money, but we don't understand the steps to building wealth. Making money and building wealth are 2 different things, right? Okay, so let's find out what those are. First phase to building wealth is step 1, you need to make money. So that comes as a surprise to no one. If you don't do this step, you can forget about the other one. But the reason I put it here is very important because I want you to understand it's just the first step. So when you make that $80,000 on a flip or $40,000 on a subject to, you're just making money. You have to start building wealth. That's a good start, but you have more steps to go. Next, you want to keep the money that you made legally. This is where the tax strategies come in. If there's one area where most real estate investors trip up, I'll say it's not just real estate investors, but as far as the IRS is concerned, I saw some statistic a while back, I can't quote it, but a large part of the liens and those sort of things that are levied, real estate agents, real estate investors. So just take that however you want. So we need to keep the money that Cory is going to help us make. We're using different tax strategies. So we've all heard it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. But what they didn't tell you is, well, how do I do that? What's the strategy to allow me to keep it? So we're going to get into that. Next, we want to grow our money. Now, here's a very specific reason I say grow. We got tax-free down here. Here's what I want this group to understand. All the stuff that Cory was talking about, for the context, is in this column. The fix and flip, the wholesale, you know, subject to all those things, because you're actively doing things. But Warren Buffett, at some point, we have to get to a point where our money is doing the things. Now, it's great if me and my money are doing things. That's even better. That's two people working. Right. But at some point, I physically am not going to be able to. So at that point, I have to have figured this out. So we might as well figure it out now. Next, we need to protect our money, because it's not going to do us a lot of good to make it, keep it, grow it, and then have somebody slip and fall on one of our properties, or have somebody sue us on a property with this LLC, and then they take all the other properties that, because you put them all in the same LLC. When Cory said, no, put them in different LLCs. No, I'm not going to do what Cory said. I'll put them in all the same LLC. Now they got all your properties. So we got to protect it. And then last but not least, we want to transfer those funds to the next generation. Now, this is just me. This is my pet peeve. If I had a soapbox, I would be on it right now. This is something we just do not do enough of. We don't focus on. And it's probably because we're struggling with these. So it's hard to get here. But we're still trying to figure these two out.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's our legacy plan, our estate plan. You know, you want to be able to transfer with minimal tax implications, you know, avoid probate, all of that stuff, because that's just a money grab from the state and the feds. So these are the 5 phases to building wealth. So I'll say this as I move on. You want to look at this kind of like any sports enthusiast in the room. Anybody like sports? Anybody like track? Anybody run track? You look like you ran track. Never ran track? Track. Yeah, no, you know what? Earlier she was talking, I was like, she looks like an athlete. You ran hurdles? Did you run hurdles? I did the hurdles. Okay, so you did the hurdles too? I did hurdles. See, she did a little bit of everything. So, think of this like hurdles, right? So we've all seen, where's the clicker? We've all seen that race where the person runs and they trip on the second hurdle. You said it. They usually don't win, right? Now, I have yet to see someone get up and then win that race. But we also see someone get right to the last hurdle and trip. She's shaking her head. What's happening? What? Remember that Lolo Jones in the Olympics, the very last heat. I was so hurt for her. She tripped on the and she was winning. Tripped on. So what I'm saying is, the ideal is you must have a strategy under each category, and the more money you make, the more strategies you need under each one. If you're not making a lot of money, you still need at least one, because that's how you start making a lot of money. But the more money you start making, you may need more under the tax, because we have a regressive tax code. So the more money you make, the more they're going to try to tax you. So I have to do battle with the IRS legally to figure out, okay, how can I keep as much money as I can, so then I can move that money here and this money can grow. And I use the word grow specifically. I don't use invest. Invest is not a bad thing, but I want you to get the mindset of grow is something that's measurable and predictable. That's how you want your money. If I had a pot here with some soil in it and I put a plant in there, put it by the window, make sure I water it, I could pretty much predict within a day or two when I would have a plant come up. That's how your money should be. We shouldn't get to retirement or we get to 45, mid-50s and have to guess, will I have enough for retirement? We should know that within reason. Okay, moving on. All right, so real quick, there's a book called The Millionaire Next Door. That's kind of boring to me, but there were some good parts in here. One of them is this quote: great offense and poor defense defense translates into under accumulation of wealth. So which simply means great offense, fix, flip, buy, hold, subject to. I'm killing it. I'm making all this money, and IRS is like, yeah, go ahead. Please make some money. Please make us some money. So if we, you know, again, back to the sports analogy, if you have a team that only knows how to score, but they can't play defense, they're probably not going to win the big game. Because at some point, you got to be able to stop people. The people you're trying to stop are, you know, folks that are either taking your money, primarily the IRS, because taxes are the largest line item that will deplete our wealth. So we got to understand how to play defense. So really just understanding the different categories. Make money, that's offense. Keep money, defense. Grow your money, that's offense. Protect your money, that's defense. And transfer your money, believe it or not, is defense, because when you pass away, that's when the government comes to your family members to try to get your money through estate taxes and probate tax and things of that nature. Okay, any questions so far? So this is the roadmap. What you're gonna do with Cory is great, but I'm telling you now, here's your booby trap. Because when you see these people on Facebook and they have an $80,000 check because of a fix and flip they just did, or they have a $10,000 check from a wholesale. How many people here know IRS has a Facebook page? Oh, yeah. IRS has a Facebook page. So it's not like you're gonna say I didn't make the money. Well, we're looking at your Facebook page.
We watch everything.
So wait, hello, where's our money? Yeah, IRS has a Facebook page. They see what's going on. So this is what this is our path to building wealth.
Now, besides the IRS Facebook page, well, also when you were selling the title company, also have to report what you.
Yeah, but I say that specifically because people will post stuff on their Facebook page, then they file their taxes, and they try. Oh, I only made $20,000. IRS is like, could you pull up your Facebook, please?
They got to see.
Yeah, it's like, well. So again, you're not going to beat IRS at their game. You got to beat them with strategy, because that's how they're going to beat you. So again, that's those strategies we're going to go into. I don't think I have time to go through this. How many here have heard about the Rule 72? Show of hands. Okay, let me take a minute to go through this. So when we take it all back, when we talk about one of the most important things to understand, I'm going to try to get serious here for a minute, when it comes to finances is the basic concepts and principles. If you get the basic concepts and principles, none of this stuff is hard. Unfortunately, in this country, we do a terrible job at financial education, but even the financial education we get, surprisingly enough, doesn't give us the basic finance, but the basic concepts and principles of how money works. So we're still kind of at a deficit. So when we talk about having our money make us money, we really got to understand Rule of 72 again. So Rule of 72 was a concept developed by Albert Einstein, where he basically figured out if you take the interest that you're making, wherever you're making, you take 72, I'm sorry, and divide it by the interest, that's going to give you a number. And that number is the number of years it will take your money to double. Now, this is just your money working on its own. You're not doing anything. Your money's doing all the work, which is where we all have to get at some point. Some of us sooner than later.
Is that the growth part?
That's the growth part. That's the growth part. So let's say everyone here, I give y'all $10,000. So aside from being my new best friends, I'm going to tell you, you can take that to a bank. That bank is going to give you, because you know me and you're one of my clients, they're going to give you a whole 1% interest annually. So tell me how long it's going to take that $10,000 to turn into $20,000 based on Rule of 72. You're not gonna let them try. 72 years. 72 divided by 1 equals 72. Now let me ask you a question. Who here thinks 72 years is too long for your money to double one time? All right, great. Here's the bad news. How many people here are getting 1% in the bank? How many people here know what they're getting in the bank? Don't be shy, because most people do not, which is part of the problem. One, I don't know what I'm getting. And two, if I did know, I'd probably throw up. No, seriously, because it's too little. National average savings account, not checking, national average savings account, 0.5%. So a half of 1%. Why are you laughing? You know these numbers. Which means based on the rule of 72 in your savings account that they send you all these letters and they give you a lollipop and all this stuff to open one, it's going to take you 144 years for your money to double one time. I'm not going to get into what the bank charges other people for your money. That's a whole nother presentation. But suffice it to say, I have a saying at CalStar, which is your money is always building wealth for someone. The question is it building wealth for you? The answer 99 times out of 10, I mean 99 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100 is no, it's not. Okay, so let's go through this real quick. So we got a rule of 72. So what if we can do better than 1%? What if we could get 4%? Now our money is doubling every 18 years. So someone, we just had to pick an age. So this person had 10,000, and then in 18 years they had 20, and then another 18 years they had 40, because your money is doubled. So this is not to say you can retire off of $40,000, but this is to say your $10,000 grew to 40,000. So that extra 30, you didn't have to work for it. You didn't have to drive Uber on the weekend. You didn't have to, come up with a paper route or whatever it is they do these days. That's your money making you money. So 4% is, we're not all that excited. But when we get 8%, now our money is doubling every 9 years. So same person, same age, same amount of money. When this person hits 65, they have 160,000. A little bit better. What if we could do better? Just 2%. So we all know that 10% rate of return is better than 8. We all know that. But I defy anyone to tell me you knew it was this much better. It was twice as much, because our money is compounding over a shorter period of time. So when Warren Buffett talks about you'll have to work for the rest of until you die, it's simply because this person didn't know that this was available, or they didn't even understand Rule of 72 and know that this is what I should be working on. So when you tell me you don't know what your interest rate is at the bank, that's a problem, because at the end of the day, that's all you really need to know. Only reason I need a bank or any other financial institution is to give me a return on my money, to make sure my money is growing. Otherwise, what do I need you for? I could put the money in my mattress if I didn't want it to do anything. All right, so let's move on. I'm going to talk about this right now. We're going to get into some retirement accounts, and I'm going to try to tie this into the real estate part, and then we're going to close out. But we're going to bring Natasha up here very quickly. So real estate and retirement. If we look back at our make, keep, grow, protect, transfer, we have a couple different solutions that can help us with different aspects of that. So the first one I'm going to talk about is something called an IUL. IUL stands for Index Universal Life Insurance. So it's like, okay, Kelvin, we're here for real estate and retirement. We're trying to make money. Why are you talking to us about life insurance? You trying to sell us life insurance? Well, perhaps, but I want you to, you tell me if you think it makes sense. Okay, so it's a type of life insurance that when used correctly and strategically will have a high growth, it will act like a high growth savings account or a Roth IRA without limits. Tax deferred growth up to 15% annually. So I just taught you rule of 72 of how quickly your money doubles at 0.5%. Somebody calculate real quick how quickly your money will double at 15%. 72 divided by 15, anybody got a calculator? How often is your money doubling versus the other 9 years and 7.2 years? What is it? Yeah, so little under 5 years. Is that better than 7.2? Okay. All right, so the other thing this does, it follows another one of Warren Buffett's rules. Warren Buffett has his 2 rules of money. Has anyone heard of Warren Buffett's 2 rules of money? Okay, write this down. Warren Buffett's 2 rules of money. You don't have to write it down. You can look it up on the internet. Just type in Warren Buffett's 2 rules of money. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. That's literally what Warren Buffett said. So you want something that's going to have a high growth account. Your money is going to grow tax deferred. So this really starts with the keep side and also the grow and the protect. So this kind of checks off a lot of the boxes. The only box this doesn't check off is the make. So we're not going to lose money. So the market go up, down, sideways, doesn't matter. We don't lose a dime. We can make as much as 15, but the lowest we'll ever get is 0.75. So even when the market is crashing, we're making something. Tax-free withdrawals and loans before age 59 and a half. How many people here knew that with your solo, with your 401k, your IRA, your Roth IRA, if you withdraw the money before 59 and a half, you're both taxed and you're penalized on your own money. Okay? So this doesn't have that constraint. If there's money in there, you can take it out and that money is tax-free. Tax-free withdrawals and loans. Tax-free retirement income. So again, I don't know how much time I have to go into this at the end, but once we get to a point where we're ready to hang it up, we can literally turn this into almost like a tax-free pension where the money we get can come on a consistent basis and we don't have to pay taxes on it. And then last but not least, it's another interesting fact that a lot of people don't know. In most states, life insurance policies are judgment proof. What does that mean?
Based off your home?
No, judgment proof. So you got $1 million in your 401k, you got $1 million in your life insurance policy. We get an offender bender on the Beltway. I decide, oh, you go to Cory's Real Mills and Deals, you got money, I'm gonna sue you. If I win, that $1 million in your 401k or in the bank or your IRA or whatever, it's at risk. That $1 million in your life insurance, can't touch it. All right, so that's the IUL. Next, we're not going to talk about self-directed IRA. We're not going to talk about fixed index annuity. We are going to talk about the solo 401k. Solo 401k is another one of these best kept secret tools. So again, tax deferred, tax deduction. So again, this is helping us with category 2 where we make it, but we get to keep it. Must be a business owner with no full-time employees. Okay, so where are my real estate agents? Okay. Are you doing your real estate under an LLC or are you a sole proprietor or any sort of a business entity? LLC. Anyone else? No, just as a real estate agent, or it's just you. Okay. So even still, IRS sees you as a sole proprietor, which is still a type of a business, because they're going to make make sure they tax you accordingly. So most real estate agents, if you have some sort of entity, you meet this requirement. You're a business owner with no full-time employees. There are no income limits. So unlike the Roth IRA, where you can only make about $130,000 as an individual and $198,000 as a couple before you can open up solo 401k, doesn't matter. Make as much money as you want, you can open up a solo 401k. What are the contribution limits for 2022? So when we talk about contribution limits, what we're talking about is being able to take some money that we made, contribute it to our 401k, and then be able to still use that money to do more real estate while getting a tax deduction. Okay, so it's a win-win. I got $20,000, I put in my solo 401k, I go to my accountant and say, okay, we got a $20,000 tax deduction off of my income. And oh, by the way, I'm going to do this fix and flip using money from my solo 401k. Okay. 20,005 as an employee, 6,500 catch-up provision for those of us over 50. So that's literally 27,000 right there for this year. Now with the solo 401k, you can wear two hats. The IRS sees you as both the employer and the employee. So this is just on the employee side, 27. If you want to do even more on the employer side, meaning the business, you can do a 25% income match to whatever you're paying yourself. So at that point, you wouldn't need to be an LLC or S corp or something like that.
Isha asked if you have money in your 401k.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So I thought you were gonna say that's what you did, but you didn't do your job. Absolutely, absolutely. And make sure you want it to be a self-directed solo 401k. Don't go to the bank and have them tell you that they're going to send you to the brokerage department, because that means they want to invest your money, and that's not what we want. We want to invest. We're good. We know how to invest our own money. So again, what can you invest it in? Real estate, cryptocurrency, private equity, gold and silver, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on. So it's pretty much any number of things. So this is, again, a way for you to save, reduce your taxes, and keep the money to invest to build more money. On that. All right, last of the strategies. This is something called a private family foundation. Private family foundation is a combination of a trust and, well, the foundation and the trust, or a charitable entity and a trust. Now you'll see, those of you, if you study wealth, you'll see there's this very mysterious relationship between charitable entities and trusts that most wealthy people have. So Warren Buffett has a foundation. LeBron James has a foundation. Bill Gates has a foundation. Bill and Hillary Clinton have two foundations. Do you see a pattern? Yes. Okay. So why? Are they charitable? Yeah, probably. But this is really what they're going for. You can donate 30% of your adjusted gross income to your foundation as tax deductible. So you make $300,000. The math's not quite there, but $300,000, you can put on pretty much $100,000 close to it into your private family foundation, and no taxes on that money. So you just reduce your taxable income down to $200,000, but you still have access to the $100,000. Guess what you can do with the money in the foundation? Invest. What do you think you're going to invest in? Real estate, cryptocurrency, Forex, what, it doesn't matter. So it's, you know, give me the tax break, but let me keep the money. Income generated from assets are tax exempt. So let's say you take this money from your private foundation, you buy a fourplex. You rent the fourplex out, you're making $2,000 a month. As long as those checks are going into the account where the foundation that the foundation holds, no taxes on that money.
So if I have my private foundation, organization,
nonprofit, foundation, there's some differences, but they're both not taxable, or they're both tax exempt entities.
Okay, so my question is, if I am the president of my foundation. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's in one of these slides here. I probably didn't go into all of that because I want to focus on the financial. But yeah, you can pay yourself a reasonable salary. But the salary you pay yourself,
I got a tax.
IRS is like, yeah, let me holler at you. So no capital gains, estate, or gift tax. So let's say, again, you buy one of these houses that Cory is talking about, but you buy it with your foundation. You buy it, you rent it out, you're making $2,000 a month. That money goes into your foundation, no taxes. You decide, you know what, after a couple of years, oh, the equity in this is crazy. I want to sell this property. I bought it for $200,000. I'm gonna sell. I held it for a couple of years. I'm gonna sell it for $400,000. So I'm making $200,000. As long as all $200,000 go back in their foundation, how much do we pay on taxes? All right. You can hire employees, including your family, and pay them a reasonable salary. Oops. Okay. All right. So I probably need to stop here so you can come up.
So that's cool. Everybody can kind of consider this a commercial break, okay? And I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying that. I'm gonna tell my story, right? What happened with me? Is that what you're talking about? Is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah, but do you want me to get to your slides?
Yes, please. That would be great. But the reason why I said kind of like a commercial break is because we want to be respectful of time. If you need to leave, that's fine. First, I'm gonna ask, did everybody register? Everybody register? Okay. So we talked about this as a group. We were like, what is the action item that we want to make sure that people leave with? And we, as a team, decided this. There are two action items. Your first action item when you leave is to expect a phone call from a member of the team, okay? Because we know that this is so much information. You got different reasons for why you came and different takeaways that you need. We normally don't answer calls that we don't recognize. So I'm just gonna say between now and Friday, you may get a call from us, somebody on our team, and it may be from a number that you don't recognize. We'll leave a message, but we're trying to talk with you to see specifically what were your needs.
Wait a minute. That means answer all your scam likely calls, because most likely it may be us.
But we know that, like I said, everyone came, we introduced ourselves, we had different goals and different reasons for being here. Okay, and so that's all we want to do is we want to connect with you, and we want to figure out what your goals are and how we can help stepping off, from this situation. So then the second thing, your second action item is if you don't hear from us or you missed that call Cory.
Wait a minute, hold up. To that point, half the room already calls me anyway.
Okay, there we go.
It's now they have a reason to call.
Right. Now you guys have right. Now you have a reason to call. No, because we're serious about this, and I want you to. I'm gonna tell a story about how I'm literally going through this, but I will tell you, I was part of this from the very beginning. I invited him. We started doing real estate into retirement. And I promise you guys, I had to have an aha moment. I called Kelvin one day and I was like, Kelvin, wait a minute. I can pull money out of my retirement account? And he was like, haven't you been listening? But it wasn't registering. Do you know what I mean? And I literally pulled money out and guess what? I became a private lender. But I had to be, even though I had sat here and I'd gone through this and I know these great guys, I had to be walked through that yet again, right? Because what I was coming for was very different. I was coming from the perspective of my clients. How can I help someone that wants to get into real estate? Real estate investing. I hadn't even thought about myself. and what I could do. So I'm only saying that to say, again, we know it's a lot. Pick up the phone because we want to help, and we know that your situation, we got something for you though. I can tell you that. You talk about wealth building, we have something for you. Okay. So
I'm gonna go back. Oh. So I'll just say, for those of you who can't stick around, we're gonna Natasha's gonna do this part, which I think you're all gonna love. But those of you who can't stick around, I'm gonna do a very quick deep dive on one of those strategies so you can see how you start kind of connecting that stuff.
Order real quick for those, if you want to stick around real quick, because Tasha's gonna get to the money really quickly for you. She's gonna show you how to find some more money. That's all I'm saying. Who wants more money? Yeah, everybody didn't raise their hand, but okay.
So Cory asked us how many of us know 5 friends who have $2,000, and almost everybody in the world raised their hand. I need new friends.
And just know I'm hitting every last one of y'all up too.
I need new friends. That wasn't necessarily my case. Okay. So, but my financial advisor had told me about a connection that he had, and I took advantage of it. Let's go ahead and go with the slides. For real estate deals only. Okay, keep going. Financing amount based on 7-to-1 cash to credit leverage. Example, $100,000 cash equals 700 line of credit for real estate. Keep going. Leverage cash in your 401k and cash value life insurance. Only credited 50% of your account balance. Use for 85% of acquisition and 100% of constructions. Minimum property value of 75,000. Minimum FICO score of 660. What in the world is she talking about? So there is. I'm gonna go from the business perspective first, right? So we have a connection with someone as long as you have an EIN number and have been in business, you can get a business loan. The business loans range from $50,000 to $150,000. There's no documents. You don't have to show. You don't have to produce your business plan. Nothing like that. Okay. You do need at least a 680 credit score. 660. This is different. This is different. Work with me. Good. Y'all paying attention. I'm so glad. I thought everybody was going to sleep.
We did that on purpose.
We did do it on purpose. This is the real estate line of credit. Right now, I'm talking about a business loan. Okay. Remember, I told you about the 50. You can get anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. $150,000. Like 50 to 150 for the business loan. Okay. So he told me about this. I did have the credit score. I waited. It wasn't real strong at the time, so I could pay off down at the 30%. You know what I mean? Went ahead and applied. I got approved for $62,000. All right. So I now have $62,000. There's the business loan. Then there's a real estate line of credit. Let's go through it again. Financing is based on the financing amount is based on the 7-to-1 cash to credit. So if I now have $62,000 times 7, okay, that's this real estate loan.
Bueller. Bueller.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
There we go. So
one at a time. One at a time.
So I did a business loan, and I was approved for $62,000. I let that sit in my account. I then applied for the real estate loan line of credit. I now have the line of credit for 7 times.
Actually, 434,000.
434,000. So mine gets really interesting because again, and wait, I don't want to confuse anybody. I don't want anybody, but I have an awesome financial advisor. Okay, so I took some of that, not the whole 62. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I put it somewhere else, and some of it went towards some other investments, right? So for what was left, my actual real estate loan was $585,000. Why? Because they looked at the cash that I had I produce information from my 401k.
Which counted as 50%.
Counted as 50%. I have my 401k that I have. I'm sorry, I'm also a full-time employee, TSP, the federal government. But guess what? I'm also a realtor. So I have a solo 401k. So some of my money was in my solo 401k, some of it was in my TSP, some of it was in my checking account from the loan that I had just got. So I now have a $585,000. And guess what? Money.
Hold up.
Not my money.
Hold up.
Oh yeah.
So with that business loan, right? Does it have to be anything real estate related, or what is?
Oh no, the business no, it's the EIN number for your startup, whatever.
Sure. Two loans.
Oh, I don't know. The question was, if you have two businesses, can you get two loans? I don't know. I really just, go ahead.
What's the interest rate on that business loan?
What's the interest rate on that business loan? Great question. My interest rate, so actually ended up being two. It was a $20,000 one and a $42,000 one. The interest rate on one is 12%, and the interest rate on the other is 10%. What I will say to that is, it all depends on your credit score. What I will also say is that I got mine in cash. The business loans that they give you may come in cash, may come in lines of credit, and may come in credit cards. And all three of those entities may have different percentages attached to them. Okay. If the gentleman was here that I have the connection that we have operating in the Black name of the organization, he will tell you that for 12 to 18 months, you can even get 0%. That's on a credit card. On a credit card. Can you pull cash off of a credit card? Yes. So again, like we said, if you going with the Cory methodology, 5 people, $2,000, no worries. We're just presenting other options if you do have to go with your credit, and if you are talking about maybe a larger amount of money. Yeah.
Alicia asked how long must you be in business?
How long must you be in business? So I've heard
it's the actual term for the loan, business loan, is startup business finance. So you don't have to. You have to have a LLC and an EIN. You could have got it yesterday. Doesn't matter.
What they will do, and it's seriously, this was a phone interview. They do want to know what your business is and where you go. So, but that's verbal. It's not, okay, send me over your business plan. That's not what happens.
Still in detail.
One day what?
Yeah, 1 day. So 0%, 60 on the credit cards between 6 months to 12 months, right? 0%, and the money is not specifically for any particular thing. There's no real criteria on the money, right?
No, it just has to be a business.
So that means exactly. I'm sorry, I know I'm sitting here. Couldn't I become a private money lender in a situation like that?
Oh my gosh.
Couldn't, but it's 0% interest. Couldn't I negotiate and actually make money off of this particular program? How much was it again? How much you say, like 500? How much was?
Oh, how much did I?
What? How much? Give me a number.
The business loan.
Oh,
right.
it's 50, up to 100.
Right. So let's just say we got $100,000, and a few people needed 5, 10, like little micro loans, and you're charging 10, 15, 20% interest on your money, and it's 0% interest. It's basically free money that you're able to make more money off of. Now you take that money and say, hey, Kelvin, I'm looking to, because I've loaned this money out and it's not working for me anymore. Where can I put my money to keep my money working and growing after I made this free money?
You're doing pretty good right now.
Am I? Okay. Well, continue.
Isn't there any origination or application fees?
Yep, I had to pay.
Yeah, it is an application. But this is essentially a no doubt. Both of these. Minimal dots, I'll say. Well, yeah, minimal.
So from the, I don't know the percent, I'm almost sure it was 15%. So from the 62, I had to pay 9,300. So what was actually deposited? Well, they deposited the whole thing.
What's the, given the time frame from start to finish? How long it take?
Week. Even 2 weeks?
Yeah, no, because and the reason why, the only reason why I don't know exactly is because I was very methodical about the way that I was doing it. Because I want to make sure that my credit, you know, you have the information. But yeah, like from the time I applied to the time I actually got it.
I'm sorry.
7 days.
I have another question. So it's 680 credit score for the business loan, right? 685 credit score for the business loan?
Yes.
But, okay, but for the real estate loan is 660. So if I qualify for the business loan, wouldn't I automatically qualify because the criteria is a little less? Wouldn't I automatically qualify for the real estate line of credit?
Which is why the time.
Oh, I'm blowing. I'm in.
Okay.
I'm sold.
Okay, so my thing is this, so when you were talking about, like for my investment company, I'm an LLC, right? So, but for real estate, so how would I then have to get an LLC to do the real estate line of credit?
No. So let's be very clear. They're separate. They're separate. They're totally separate. These things are totally
two different companies,
separate.
2 different processes.
Totally separate. I just combined them because I knew the person, the entity that we deal with does both.
Okay.
And like I said, this is my financial advisor, so he already knew. So when we talked about
I told her to do both.
that was our strategy from the very beginning. However, I have referred people that have only got business loans, and I have referred people that have only got real estate loans.
Okay.
I just chose to match.
Okay.
Here's the concept why I tell all my clients, to Cory's point, if you have a 685 or whatever, do both. I have a client, he's a former NFL player. He wanted to do the business loan because he wanted to start, he has a health and wellness business. He has this, he's certified in this kind of like breathing, for health and all that good stuff. So he did that. He didn't do real estate. I told him, apply for it anyway. Why not? So he applied for it, I think he got approved for somewhere around $2 million real estate line. So he has his business loan and or line of credit. I forget what that amount is for. Now he has $2 million in a real estate line of credit, only for real estate. So what I told him is like, so now we're going to go start looking for real estate deals, because why not?
Right.
They just gave you $2 million. Right. Now, if we find a deal, again, you need 80 from the line. You can use it for 85% of the acquisition. So easy math. Let's say we got a property, 100,000 acquisition. You need to put 100,000 in the renovation. You can sell it for 300,000. So 85,000 come from the line. You have to come up with the 15% and the closing costs. Where is that money coming from? The small business. So literally by combining the two, you become a cash buyer in essence.
For the real estate line of credit, is there any underwriting process? Let's say I have a deal and I want to pull the money from the line of credit.
Yeah.
Do I need to pay points for every transaction as well, or?
You need to, you basically have to pay points for every transaction. Think of it like hard money lending that you don't have to go back. You think of it like hard money lending where you already know what you're approved for. You do a deal, let's say you have $500,000 line of credit. You do a deal for $200,000, you're working on that. Another deal for 250 comes up. Now you can do that deal too. It's not a situation where, hey, well, let me finish this deal. I got to cash out before I can do more. So what this allows you to do is do more or do bigger deals. But once you finish both of those deals, you sell them, you put the money back in the line. That line has been reestablished. Now you can use the whole 500,000 on the next deal or the next series. So you already know what your limit is, and you can just, it's basically called a revolving line. As soon as you pay it off, it's like a credit card. As soon as you pay it down, you have the whole balance.
And the interest, so the other thing that I will say, I don't necessarily like this. I kind of want to punch him sometimes, but in Calvin's world,
How much does that help him?
I'm just saying, no, let me tell you why.
I'm grateful.
No. I'm the poster child.
She's the bully in the group. So.
I'm the poster child. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we also work off of integrity. We don't want to tell you anything. We don't want to provide any information. We don't want to put ourselves out here unless we've done it. You do, people like, and trust. I'm in the middle of it right now. When I tell you that I just got approved like about a week ago, actually.
Cory's the only one who doesn't have a real estate line of credit. Surprise!
Why you call me out, man?
She said
these are accusations.
So what I've done.
Yeah, you need it. That's why.
No, it's okay. So what I've done, because someone asked earlier, how do we get these deals when we're finding distressed sellers, right? So everybody knows I'm also a realtor. But I actually had a friend of mine call me. She lives here in Baltimore. She was having difficulty, but she didn't call me for that. We was just catching up, blah, 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 blah. So she's telling me about her house, which I had sold to her. So I was like, so what's going on with your house? And she's like, oh, yeah, no, I think I'm going to work with she said somebody at church, and they're a wholesaler, and they offered me 93. I was like, what's the address? I give you 100. She said, okay, I like you better. So that was great, right? Because she's going through, she's just now falling behind, all that good stuff. I contacted someone else that Cory connects me with, who's working on the short sale, right? So then I know that I'm working on this on the side. I'm hoping that I'm gonna get it for less than the 100,000, but it's okay even if I don't, because the ARV is 225, right? I've already gotten approved. So when we said, so this is what I wanted to explain, use of 85% of acquisition and 100% of construction, right? So we're going to stick with the 100,000, and we're just gonna assume if they don't get the short sale lower, okay? I will have to come to the table with $20,000. 15% to make up the difference, 5,000 in closing, right? But they will pay 100% of the cost to renovate this house, and it's in terrible shape. They're going to pay. So then also when you say what do they want, they told me when they sent me the approval, just like any other conditional approval, it says you have to bring them the deal. You have to show. I have to show. When I was talking about the ARV, I have to just show them, here's the deal. So this is how much the construction is going to cost. I'm going to have someone go in, do the estimates with me to give, it's going to be based on drawdowns. But none of this is my money. That's the best part. None of it is my money. So, where it said minimum property value of 75,000. So somebody, you could be like, well, what if they negotiate it down? And da, 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 da. The 75,000 actually includes not only your acquisition, but also your construction costs. I just learned that out. You see what I mean? So I'm not nervous if it only comes in at 60, because as long as I got at least 15,000 in construction costs, I'm gonna still be good. So, and we're not even gonna get into the other investment vehicle that my financial advisor gave. But it's just other ways, like we talked about.